chicken. So you do know the only way you make gravy is just flour. Gravy is nothing but just flour. And so, you know, a really good gravy is adding all of the vegetables in there. Like I said, I love me some cooking vegetables. And so the way you start it off, all you're doing is just putting all your vegetables in here, and then you put flour in here. You got to put flour in the beginning while it's cold. You never add flour to hot water. It's going to lump up. It's not going to look right. Nobody is going to eat your shit. And so flour is always added when it's cold. And so I got, you know, I chopped up my vegetables, got me some garlic, put some jalapenos in there too because I like it hot. And so I always like to cook my chicken in the air fryer first, just so it can get halfway done, and then put it in the gravy. You give me enough time to make the gravy, and then just let that shit simmer. But that's how it should look. Your flour, and then once it start cooking, that's when you add your water. But gravy is the easiest thing to make from scratch. All you got to do is remember, you put your flour in the beginning. The beginning, you put your flour. Flour is always added when it's cold. Because if you add that flour when it's hot, boy, you're finna have some lumpy ass shit. Well, I'm on a carnivore diet now, so it's mainly just protein only. But, you know, as you can see, when I make my protein, I always add a lot of cooking vegetables. So cooking vegetables is my thing. And so it's just staying away from like the heavy pastas and rice and stuff like that. I'll make it for Elijah because this is about to be some smothered chicken. So I'll make it for Elijah, so I'll put it over rice. But with mine, it's just the meat only and the vegetables. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Well, I like how the jalapenos in there. The jalapenos is giving it a really good spice. But yeah, that's all it is. That's all you're doing when, you know, making smothered chicken, smothered pork chops, you know, whatever it is. All it is just you're making a gravy, and the way you make the gravy is with flour. You start with flour, you add your vegetables and stuff in there, let that heat up, and then you start adding your water from there. But you never add flour when it's hot. That shit is gonna lump up, and it's gonna look sick. Nobody gonna want to eat that shit. And then it come out all good and creamy. Man, that jalapeno is hidden. That jalapeno is hidden. That jalapeno with those seasonings, it's hidden real good, boy. So, you know, that's how you make a good roux. You know, you add your flour, you add your vegetables, and, you know, let it simmer a little bit, and then that's when you'll start adding the water to make it, because the more flour, the thicker it's going to be. The less flour, the more watery it's going to be. But once this thing start heating up, it's going to make this real thick, so you got to add some water. Yeah, I don't play too much with the seasonings because that high blood pressure, and so I try to get majority of my seasonings naturally from all of the vegetables. That's why I use a lot of cooking vegetables, so that all of those onions and garlic, jalapeno, bell peppers, tomatoes, that they all simmer together, and it really coat the chicken really good. So yeah, I put a little seasoning in there, but not too much, not black level. Shit, I'm loving this gravy though. It's gonna be good as shit because that gravy good. That gravy not good. It's gonna turn out bad, baby. It's gonna turn out bad. But this gonna be good as fuck. Ooh, though, that jalapeno is just hidden. That jalapeno boy is hidden so good. Woo. Let me get some. I'm gonna need a lid to let it simmer. Some fresh water. Da, 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 da. Because I don't like just the boiled chicken taste only, so I like to cook mine in the air fryer first. I like to cook it for 15 minutes in the air fryer and then put it in the roux. But I like for mine to, I don't like just putting it directly in here. See, there we go. It's already thickening up. Look how it's thickening up. The most important step, never add flour. Never add flour when this shit is hot. It's gonna lump up and you're gonna see all of these little white lumps. You always do it when it's cold. And then for whatever reason, if you need to add some more flour, that's when you take a cup, put some water in there, and then put the flour in there and mix it in until it turned into a paste, and then put it in the pot for in case because remember, the more flour you add, the more thicker the gravy is going to be. So it really depends on how thick you want your gravy, but you never add it when it's hot. So if you need to add some more later, you just put some water in a cup, add some flour, mix it in, and then once it turns into a paste, that's when you pour it in. Because if you just put flour directly in there when it's hot, that shit is gonna lump up. And so it gives you a nice little creamy sauce. That's all it is. All it is just flour and vegetables and seasoning. This is gonna be the gravy. And it's good. Shit, I'm gonna eat. That shit good fuck. So now I'm gonna add my chicken. Gonna add my chicken in there. So now I added my chicken. Now all I need to do is add some more water to the thing, because remember, it's not going to be watery because the base is flour. It's flour and vegetables and seasoning, and that's how you make a roux. And then as this get hot, it's going to thicken the gravy, and it's going to coat the chicken very well. And then you just serve it. With Elijah, I serve it over rice. With me, I'm just eating the chicken only. But this is about to be good as fuck. Man, it's about to be good as fuck. Ooh, I'm already just thinking about it. And it's gonna thicken itself up as the water and stuff start boiling. Because that flour is still in there. Ooh, this will be good. This is about to be good as fuck. This is about to be good as fuck. I'm gonna show you when it's done how the roux is gonna look. It's gonna be thick as fuck. And so, just let this sit, let this boil. And so you start this with, you gotta make a roux. And so, in the pan, you put your flour, you add seasoning, you cut up your vegetables and add that. Once it start, cooking a little bit, that's when you start adding water, and it's gonna end up, that's what's going to end up making your gravy. And then once you do that, you put your chicken in, let this shit simmer, and that shit is about to be good as fuck. You got some good smothered chicken. And then you just cook some rice to go with it, and you serve that thing over rice. And so I give Elijah rice with it. But I just eat the chicken only because I'm on a carnivore diet. Even though technically the gravy is not carnivore because there's flour in there, which is some carbs, but it's still not like I'm eating like a bowl of rice. And I already made rice the last meal for him, so he still got some rice left, so I don't even have to make rice. I can just heat up the rice from the last meal. Boy, black people and their rice. And the Africans, because the Africans love their rice too. We'll make some, boy. We know how to make some meals with some rice. So got that rice. Let me start cleaning this up. But I'm telling you, man, this is gonna be good as fuck. I love me some good smothered chicken, and well, I don't eat pork like that. My mom used to make some smothered pork chops, but but when my mom made some smothered pork chops, that shit was good as fuck. But for the most part, mine is I like chicken. I like chicken, ground turkey, because I can make some good ass Salisbury steak too. I like to make my Salisbury steak from scratch. I don't like that box shit from the grocery store. It's just like learn. Majority of these meals are very basic. The majority of the meals are very basic. They don't take much time. I don't see how some people be in the kitchen all fucking day. Like it's not that serious. It's just not. Man, I'll like making a roux and stuff from scratch. Like you don't even have to buy the canned gravies and stuff like that. You can make all of that shit from scratch, and it don't take no time at all. All it is, especially with gravy, all it is fucking flour. Put the flour in there, chop up some vegetables. You can add some butter to it as well, and then as it start getting hot, start adding some water to it, and the more the more thicker you want it, you add more flour. If you want it, nobody want it thin. Don't make it too thin. Now that's when you get cussed out. Nobody want no thin as gravy, because if it's too thin, that's when you get cussed out. That's when you get cussed out, baby. That's when you really get cussed out. But if you mess up where you make it too thin, it's just like what I told you. You get a cup, add some flour in the cup, add some water to it, and then you take a spoon and you mix it to turn it into a paste, and then you slowly start pouring it in, and it's going to start thickening up, whatever it is. So if you make cheese dip and you fuck up with cheese dip and you add too much milk, and now that shit is watery and it's running off the damn chips, all you do, put some flour in a cup, put a little water in there, mix it together to turn it into a paste, and then you slowly start pouring it into the cheese dip, and you're going to start seeing the cheese dip thickening up. Because you never want to add flour directly to something hot. It's going to mess up. It's going to have all of these little white bumps as if the food is sick. and then ain't nobody going to eat that shit. Ain't nobody going to eat it once they start seeing those white bumps. They're going to be like, what? What's that? Do the cheese dip got COVID? But like right now, this is a good consistency. This is a good consistency with the gravy, and it's still finna thicken up. It's still finna thicken up more, and so this is a really good consistency for gravy. And so this is about to be good as fuck. I'm gonna show you what this look like at the end when this get done cooking. But this gravy, boy, ooh. I'm gonna get a spoon and get this gravy good as fuck. This gravy good. Now this is why I can't cook, because I'll be eating while I'm cooking. Cause this gravy is so damn fucking good. Man, that gravy is so good. The jalapenos really made that pop. Man, that gravy is so fucking good. That gravy is good. Fuck. Damn, that gravy good. That gravy is good as fuck. Ooh, that gravy is good as fuck. Woo. Make me want to turn that damn gravy into a soup. Damn, that shit's so good as fuck. Oh man. So yeah, I gotta But yeah, y'all, if you see my, latest video, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about was that, it's like, some of the comments that I get from TikTok and from YouTube when it comes to Elijah. And I be having to keep remind people that, keep in mind that Elijah is only 14 years old, regardless of how tall he is, how deep his voice is, regardless of whether you think this boy is cute, sexy, and the whole 9 yards. Elijah is 14, and I don't want him to to lose his innocence, especially with the things that I've went through, in childhood. And so it's like, no, and it, people's the way people say things, it's just like, you look sideways depending on what it is that you've been through. And I've been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff as a kid, and I know adults intentions. If you don't correct that shit, that can go left field very fast. I'll share some personal stuff, with me, which, the kids already know. I already talked to the kids about it. Like I said earlier on my video, my very first time having full blown sex was when I was in the seventh grade. And, even before the seventh grade, I still had an encounter. It just wasn't full blown sex. So to give you a backstory, I was a master thief. I was a master thief. I had a lot of intelligence, so I used that to become a master thief. I was, in elementary. My elementary school, it was a Family Dollars and I forgot that other name of the grocery store that was there, but it's a grocery store it was only in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was a grocery store that's not common. And so I think it was called like Sear. No, it was something. It's a grocery store that's not common. It's only in Little Rock, Arkansas. And so it was a grocery store, and it was a Family Dollars right across the street from the elementary school. And so, I used to play my teachers all the time. Every time after lunch, I used to always tell my teachers that I had to go to the bathroom. And then I would sneak out the door. I would put a rock in the door so I can get back in. And I would run across to the Family Dollars or to the grocery store over there, and I would steal all of these Now and Laters because that was my candy back then. I loved me some Now and Laters. And so, I was just, putting them in my pockets, putting them in my underwear, putting them in my shoes and my socks. I was just, stealing candy left and right. And I was very smart. I would look at the cameras and stuff and see where the cameras and stuff is directed to, make sure I wasn't getting caught on the camera. And then, once I got done, getting my candy and stuff like that, sometimes I would have money because my dad would give me some money. So I would go in line and just buy something just to play it off. And then I would shoot back over to the elementary school, and I would go back in the door where I put the rock. Nobody knew nothing. Nobody knew nothing. And I did this for months and never got caught. That's how good I was. Man, I did this for months and never got caught. And so then, finally, one day, I end up getting caught when I was in Family Dollars. And I want to say I was in the third grade. I was in the third grade at this time. And it was this black dude. He was gay, he was feminine, and he was the one that caught me. And so I remember, he ended up, taking me to the office, and I was like, damn, they finna call the cops. Like, I'm finna get arrested. I'm like, my parents is about to beat the shit out of me, and I'm like, and then the whole time I'm over there, because this time I was over there for an extended period of time, and the school never said anything. They never called nothing. They didn't even know they didn't even know I was fucking gone. And so I'm over there in the office, and the dude was like, he got to give me a pat down and stuff like that, to get all the, candy and stuff like that I had. And, that was my very first experience of seeing the potential of adults, of what really goes through adults' mind. Or, well, I guess you can say some adults, the potential that some adults have. And so I remember that, as he was patting me down, I know he was, like caressing on my private parts. And I'm like, is this part of the search? I'm like, it ain't no, it ain't no not laters up in there. Like, this a whole chocolate bar, and this chocolate bar is attached to me. I'm like, baby, that's not from the store. That's natural. And so, but that was my very first experience where I had a grown ass man caressing on me, taking advantage of the fact that he already caught me stealing. And so it was like, nigga, I know you ain't gonna say nothing because you just got done stealing in the fucking store. And so next thing you know, he caressing it. Next thing you know, he end up putting his mouth on it. And that was my very first experience. And that is the reason why I'm very territorial and protective when it comes to Elijah and every last one of my kids, because I know what it is that I experience. And I remember, even at that time, I didn't tell my parents. And the only reason I didn't tell my parents, because in order for me to tell them the story, I got to admit that I was stealing. And then I got to admit that I've been stealing for months. And so, it was one of those things where I'm just like, it happened. And I just start avoiding going to that store, where I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to go to that store anymore, because of what happened. And so this is me, just being in the third grade. I'm a boy. I'm like, I didn't know anything about sex. I didn't know, anything about anything, but that was my first time getting a head job. And so, things only got worse from there. Where, this wasn't just my, very first encounter and my only encounter with an adult. Throughout, my time, I have been in positions where, end up messing around with one of my teachers. I end up, messing around with one of the parents of one of the kids that I knew. And it was a lot of experiences in high school. And it was one of the junior high and high school. And it was all because of when people would look at me, people always thought that I was older than what I was. I've gotten that my whole entire life. In junior high, people thought I was older. When I was in junior high, people thought I was in high school. When I was in high school, people thought that that I'm in college or something, knowing that I'm still walking the damn campus. And so people always thought that I was older than what I was because I developed very fast. I end up having a full ass beard, already had hair under my arms and the whole 9 yards. Like, I grew up very, I developed very fast. I mean, everything grew in fast. Dick start growing in fast and the whole 9 yards, and people took advantage of that. And so when I hear comments directed towards Elijah, where it's just like, oh, his voice is deep and all of this other stuff, it triggers me. Because at the end of the day, that's how it started with me. That's exactly how it started with me, where grown ass people giving a kid compliments, and then the next thing you know, it turned into being too touchy, and then it turned into something completely left field. That was, one of the things that I actually loved about my partner, the one that I was married to, is that we both had similar upbringings. Mine happened from strangers. My partner, it was more in the family. But because of our experience of what it is that we went through, we were very overprotective of the kids. We never really did babysitting, and I know, some of the kids got mad, every single time when I would tell them, like, you can't spend the night at a friend house. And half of the time, I don't even let them go over there. I don't want you going over nobody else's house. If they want to hang out with you, they got to come here. And I know, the kids will get mad and they didn't fully understand it, but I'm like, I know people's potential. You never know what these people are thinking and what can actually go down in somebody else's house. It could be from the fact that, this is a person that really don't watch their kids. They let their kids do whatever the fuck it is that they want to do. And then the next thing you know, these kids are messing around with each other. Or it could be that you have an older kid in the house that has already experienced sex and now they're trying to teach it to someone younger. And so we were a firm believer of not letting them go over anybody's house, not letting them do sleepovers, not letting, we didn't want to do daycare or anything like that. I make really good money. I make a lot of money. And so, because of that, we made an agreement where it's like, hey, you got to stay home. You got to stay home. I'll pay all the bills. I'll pay the car notes and everything. You got to stay home for the simple fact that I don't want nobody else watching this nigga. This is our responsibility and we're going to, take our responsibility seriously. I don't even believe kids watching kids. I'm not going to ever tell one of my kids to watch the other kid. I don't even believe in that. And so, it's, to me at all times, there needs to be an adult there. There needs to be an adult that is watching these motherfucking kids, making sure that they're doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. And so, when I make my, comments and stuff like that, and I'm like, raising my eyebrows where I'm like, okay, that's enough. You've already said Elijah's voice is deep, shut the fuck up now, bitch. It's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. It's a reason for it. It's all because of my past. I know exactly what it is that, those things can lead to if you don't nip it in the butt. If you don't say something about it and you don't tell somebody to shut the fuck up. And so, I'm a firm believer in that. I've seen, and I've seen it on both sides. I've seen it from both male and female. Neither one of them are fucking different. But both of them think the fucking same. If they are in a position where they are lonely and they don't have anybody, they will take advantage of what's ever in front of them, even if what's in front of them is a kid. And so, based on, my experience and what I have been through, no, I don't. No, the only person that will ever, be able to, watch my kid and Elijah would be able to spend the night and stuff like that is my twin brother. My twin brother is the only person that I will ever trust that I can say, hey, I need you to watch my kids. Hey, I need them to spend the night. Outside of that, no, it's a no-go for me. Whatever it is I need to do, I'm probably just going to end up quitting that job. I'm probably going to end up, I'm going to do what I have to do because at the end of the day, family is always going to be first for me. It's always going to be family. You put me in a position where I can't be home to watch my kids and I got to depend on somebody else. Nah, bitch, that's not the job for me. And so that's one of the things that I just, really wanted to explain where it's just like, and even on TikTok, like people is, oh, y'all are a really cute couple. And I'm like, cute couple. I'm like, I'm single. Like, who the fuck can you be talking about? And they like, oh, the light skinned dude that's, that's in the picture and stuff. The light skinned dude that's on you. I'm like, you talking about the 14-year-old kid that's on my side because that's my son? That's who you talking about? I'm like, can you not see it in his fucking face that he's way younger than me? I know Elijah is tall and stuff like that, but Elijah don't look like he's in his 20s. Elijah do not look like he is a day over 18. You may be able to get away with saying he looked like a 16-year-old, but there's no way you can say that this boy looked like a fucking 18-year-old. And so, it's crazy. That's just been the craziest thing. And the crazy thing about it is that, this has only happened with Elijah. No other kid. And it's probably because, no other kid at his age was taller was tall like him, nor that they have such a deep voice like him. Because Elijah is growing pretty fast. Um I remember looking at Elijah when he was like 10 and stuff, and I'm like, already, getting hairs and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, look at you, growing fast, and I'm like, oh shit, boy, please don't have my life, please don't have my life, please don't have what I've been through, because I'm like, so, that's my little spiel, y'all. I don't like it. I don't like it. It really rubs me the wrong way when kids are getting compliments, because I know that it can go left field very fast. And so I don't like it. I'm gonna say something about it. The first time I'm gonna say it in the form of a joke, and then the next time I'm probably gonna be cussing you out. That's how I always do. The first time it's always a warning shot where it's like, okay, remember he 14, and then the next time I'll probably be saying some shit that you're gonna unsubscribe and you're gonna block me and everything else, and you might do a police report for harassment. So it's like, let's not get to step two, because step two I can go very crazy. So let's not get to step two. Let's stay on step one where you hear that little joke and you like, okay, let's stay there, because I gets crazy. It's especially when it comes to this boy. That's the one thing that I prayed for every kid, is that, none of them would go through the things that I had to go through, because, you don't realize, how much it changed you. When I was once I start getting in the seventh grade, I start having a lot of body image issues. I went through some shit. I had so much low self-esteem at that time. Throwing up my food and all types of stuff. I'm on the stage of being anorexic. And it's all because of all this mental stuff that I was going through that, I never talked to anybody about, that, it was, that was just the way that, I reacted to the situation. And, it put me through some stuff. And then, once I got out of that stage, I became the biggest whore you ever knew. I fucked everything with legs, literally. Anything that had legs, it got fucked. If it was a hole to put it in, baby, I put that hole in there. I put it in that hole. I'm telling you. Even if it wasn't a hole, I made a hole. And so, I became very, very promiscuous. I'm surprised that, I walked out of high school without having like HIV or some type of STD. I'm surprised that I walked out with not having anything. I'm really surprised because I literally fucked everything that fucking walked. Anything that walked past me, I put it in there. And it's all because of being exposed at such a very young age. When you start seeing kids, especially at a young age like the seventh grade, that's being overly promiscuous, I can bet you any kind of money that kid was touched. That kid was touched in some type of way. That's not a natural response for them at that age. That's not a natural thing that a kid would do at that age. If that kid is being overly sexually at such a young age, 9 times out of 10, somebody touched that kid. That kid was exposed in some type of way. And so, you got to be careful on that. And so that's why I'm very protective when it comes to Elijah. I don't want him to go through any of the things that I went through. I remember my what was that? I think that was my 11th grade year. My 11th grade year, I end up going to a party, and I was around some friends, so-called friends, because I cussed every last one of those motherfuckers out. I was around some so-called friends, and we just partying and stuff like that. I'm, getting sleepy and everything. So I'm, taking I, slept on the couch because it was a house party. I slept on the couch to take me a little nap. I wake up, my dick out, my dick wet, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? And so, boy, I cussed everybody in that motherfucking house out. Everybody in that goddamn house got cussed out when I woke up. And it's even after that, everybody that I knew that I went into that party with, I cut that relationship quick. I cut that relationship quick. I completely, cut relationships with everybody that I went into that house with. And it's like, to this day, some of them have tried to, reach out to me years later. And I'm like, bitch, I'm still not talking to you. I'm still not talking to your motherfucking ass. Make sure you pick the right friends. That's why I tell the kids that, man, all the time. I'm like, you better make sure you pick the right friends. You got to make sure that, especially if you're going to be in a position like that, you're going to have people that's going to have your back. You're going to have people that's actually going to watch over you and stuff like that. And so, it's just, it was too many experiences where it was just like, adults taking advantage of a kid that I don't trust adults like that. I do not trust adults around my kids. I just don't. Especially you start, making comments and stuff like that, talking about, how tall a kid is or how deep their voice is and stuff like that. In my mind, you're fantasizing about my kid. In my mind, you're sexualizing my kid. In my mind, these are things that you're saying that you're attracted to. And I'm like, hell to the fuck no. You're not finna have mine. I can promise you that. And that's the one thing I promise myself is that my kids will never experience the things that I went through. Let me put this up here. I gotta check on this. So now y'all know why I'm crazy about Elijah. Ooh. I told you, I told you the gravy gonna thicken up. The gravy is gonna do what it's gonna do. Somebody said something about because my father never hugged me. Some people be ignorant. They see a nigga. That's just the racist shit. People see a nigga and they think that we don't have dads. Bitch, I got a mom and a dad. Bitch, I got a whole support system of family. So stop listening to all this racist shit online. We have fathers too. We have fathers too, bitch. Y'all be getting the wrong images about the black community. They talk about a few niggas and y'all think that it's the whole damn community. Like shit, we got fathers, we got mothers, we got aunties, we got uncles. And then don't get me started on y'all. Because when it comes to our community, like I said, every last one of my experience that was forced, it was outside of my family. Now, when we get to some of y'all races, y'all are always in house. Now, keep that in mind. Y'all are always in house. It's always your relatives doing it to you. So just keep that in mind. Our statistics in that area is very low. Yours is very high. So it's like, yeah, you got a daddy, but he your uncle too. So don't be getting on blacks. When we have siblings, they are only our brother. They are only our sister. They're only our mother. They're only our father. It's never a mix. They're never uncle and daddy. They're never daddy and son. Now, just please keep that in mind. Cause y'all read one little thing on TikTok and y'all like, wait a minute, that's the whole black community. No, the fuck it ain't. That was their family. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Ooh, yeah. Cool, boy. Mm-mm-mm. This is gonna be good as fuck. This is gonna be good as fuck. Elijah, white rice. And so I always like to do it like this. Just take the chicken and put it on there. And then take the spoon and add the gravy. And there you go. There you go. We finna eat. Boy, we finna eat. Boy, 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 boy. That's how you do it. Somebody said, of course it's chicken, and of course it's seasoned too. No, that's what you need to say. Of course it's seasoned. We don't do no dry ass shit. You know how y'all chicken be looking. We don't do no dry ass shit. We learn how to season around here. We don't eat that. We don't eat that dog food. We don't eat that dog food y'all be eating. No, no. No, no. We eat. And see, that's another reason why you can't be having your kids just over anybody's house. Boy, I'll be fucking pissed if I find out you done served my kids some dog food. The way they be having their dog and stuff in the kitchen, boy, I'll be pissed as fuck. Kid coming back sick, and it's all because the dog was licking on the unseasoned chicken before they put it in the air fryer. We ain't playing that. And so mine is just with no rice. So I'm doing my little carnivore diet, even though this gravy is not carnivore, but I'm doing mine with no rice. So I still got all my vegetables and everything in here, and then just eating the chicken. And so I'm gonna tear this up. Elijah, come down here, and then turn on the TV and find a show for us to watch. Do you want me to put one of your You want me to put one of your cookies? You want me to put one of your cookies on your plate? All right, y'all. Elijah, big back cookies from yesterday. He still got some big back cookies left. You want a huge one, or you want a medium-sized big back? Yeah, that's the one I'm getting it from. All right, I'm gonna give you this huge one then. Okay. Elijah, big back cookies. And that's his dessert. I'm gonna probably do peanut butter for dessert because I don't have no custard. I ate all my custard. So I'm gonna have to do peanut butter to stay true to my carnivore diet. But I was seeing a recipe for cookies where it was saying egg, peanut butter, and protein. That's a really good. I'm gonna probably make that cookie.
You said mine is on Netflix.
Yeah. Cause I guess we can finish Sweet Tooth, but I kind of gave up on that. It took them too damn long to come up with a new season.
I told you we finished Sweet Tooth.
You sure we finished it?
Yes, I'm absolutely positive.
All right, well, find another show that we can watch.
Yes, man. Absolute affirmative.
No, Elijah, they still got jalapenos in there. I put a lot of jalapenos.
Okay.
So just giving you a forewarning. It's hot. But it's crazy how, people outside of our community, they have allowed the media and everything else to trick them that they think they know what black is. They think they know what a black family is. Bitch, what you see on the news and stuff like that is not every fucking black family. Because I didn't grow up in no goddamn hood. I didn't grow up in the ghetto. We had a house. My parents owned 2 houses. So it's like, nah, we not that ghetto shit. My parents had 16 kids, all from the same mother and father. They never been on Section 8. They never been on food stamps. None of that shit. My dad had his own business and he worked. My dad had his own business and he did construction, and then he would do CDL driving as well. And so it's like, no. I know y'all thinking, everybody outside the black community, 16 kids, y'all must have been on, Section 8 and the whole 9 yards. We never been on fucking Section 8. We never been on no fucking damn food stamps. I've never recalled my mom pulling out a damn food stamp cards to pay for groceries. It was always my dad money. What type of show is it? Okay. Hopefully it's good. But shoots, we are the most protective of our kids. That's the one thing that I can get a black community. We are the most protective of our kids because I feel for little Johnny Booty Hole been I feel for little Johnny, and I feel for Samantha. Samantha over there cutting herself and everything else because of all her childhood traumas. So we just, we have our stuff, but at the end of the day, we have a lot of good stuff going too. And then the one thing I like is that we got real food too. Cause I can't do no unseasoned I can't do no unseasoned bland food. They're gonna have to y'all gonna have to miss me on that one. Like we can't get the only seasoning is just a little bit, a dash of sea salt. Like hell no. Give me more than sea salt, mama. She said, but that's all I fucking know, Johnny. That's all I fucking know, Johnny. If you want to be dangerous, put some pepper on it. That's how they be. If you want to be dangerous, put some pepper on it, Johnny. And then, it's so funny. Because even when I go out with people, they, ooh, this spicy. Ooh, this spicy. Ooh, this spicy. I'm like, it. I'm tasting it and I'm like, baby, this need a little bit more. Like, I don't know where you got spicy from. Oh man, boy, we are just different. We are just different. But y'all, shoot. Like I said, shit, I just been through some shit, and because of what I've been through. Go ahead, Elijah. You can start putting the plates on the food trays.
Okay. Sit your butt down, boy.
Put a drink on the food trays as well.
Hey, it's supposed to be hot. You can't do that.
And like that's another, good thing with us is like, in the black community, we have family time. We actually sit down with our kids and actually have dinner with them. We have a lot of good stuff. We actually, as much as we say, fuck those kids sometimes, because sometimes they get on our nerves. At the end of the day, we connect a strong bond with our kids. And that's what it's all about, man. You gotta have that good bond. Because especially as they get older, but that's it, y'all. I just wanted to show y'all dinner, and then just explaining my point of view. Why I said what I said earlier on my why I said what I said earlier on my video. And I meant every word of it. Where it's just like, calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down. Some of these adults, some of these motherfucking adults, boy, you just never fucking know. And so, now you see where my head is. Now you see where I come from when I hear shit where I'm like, okay, bitch. Okay, nigga. That strike one.
-4.
Yeah, here. You can put that on mine, and let me get you. Cause they all in the dishwasher. You haven't put up the dishes yet. So yeah, now y'all see where I come from. I don't trust none of them. I don't trust niggas and I don't trust bitches. Both of y'all did me wrong. I don't trust niggas and I don't trust bitches. I have experience with both. So it's like no. And I don't see how people just think that it's only men, that you gotta always watch your kids and stuff like that around men. No, it's some bitches too. You know, people are going to be people. It has nothing to do with gender. You know, people are going to be people. If people can take advantage of a situation, they will. And so, you know, it's both. It's not just one. But anyways, we'll continue this conversation later because I'm about to eat. We about to get some grub on, but I just wanted to tell y'all my point of view. All right, y'all, I'm out.